Morning.
Good morning.
It is spring.
It's not midwinter. It's late winter.
Late winter.
And the sun is shining.
We haven't moved in
6 weeks.
6 weeks. Yeah. And, well, we have moved, but only to go back to get water at the water point that's not too far behind us.
Like 4 boats away.
Yeah. So we've gone through 2 full water tanks.
And we also moved forward and spun around, even though this isn't a winding hole, because we needed to put the solar panels up. We're at Swarkestone Junction, and it's turned out, we didn't plan it, just where we were when lockdown happened. Turned out to be quite a good place to stop.
Yes.
It's called Swarkestone Junction because the old Derby Canal used to go off that way and meet up with the Erewash Canal.
Now there's
branched off somewhere else, I can't remember.
Yeah, now there's a boatyard here.
Yeah.
And then a desolate canal you can walk up for quite a long way.
You can walk itself. Yeah, and you can still see the basin of the canal for quite a lot of it. So yeah, it's quite a nice place to stop. We're 20 minutes from groceries and post office. We've got tap, we've got rubbish. It's been all right. And
then we've had to deal with coal.
Yeah, we had a coal delivery here, which worked out fine because it's been very cold. And our gas.
And we're on a road, so that's useful.
Well, it's an access road. It's not a busy road, so it's been fine.
Yeah.
And
there's a field for George.
Yeah, so then our gas bottle ran out, and we have some viewers that are down a few blocks, and they actually had a car, so they came, picked up our empty gas bottle, and brought us back a brand new bottle. So thank you very much, Paul and Steph. And they also make videos, but I can't remember the name off the top of my head, so I'll link it below.
Yeah, sorry about that. We didn't prepare this morning.
We're not used to this. We're not used to.
No, well, and also, like, our movement this morning is kind of predicated on the fact that, so we're low on fuel. We have 0 laundry. Under this, I'm wearing the same shirt that I've been wearing for the better part of 3 weeks. Things have gotten foul.
Yeah, there's no laundrette here, and
which has made Valentine's Day and our anniversary really nice.
You can obviously hand wash some stuff, but you can't hand wash everything.
No, especially the heavier stuff. Like we just don't have
bedding. Can't have.
Yeah, we have a small tub, and you can't do things like bedding, and George gets muddy. So basically, like,
we've got essential movement to do.
We have to move, and we've been waiting to be able to do that because effectively there's a stoppage behind us where a bridge is out of order due to repairs. So
scheduled
contractors
repairs
on site, and you cannot move further backwards. In this direction, of course, is the junction between the Trent, the Soar, and the Erewash, and with the
cut
with the Derwent up towards us, and so there's basically like an enormous conjunction of rivers that all feed into the other Trent.
The Derwent, the Trent, and the Soar.
And it's been in flood. Yeah. So there was a notice that went up January 20th that said that there was a stoppage in Shardlow that's about 3 hours from here. And
so we've been watching that for days and days and days and days.
Yeah, and then finally we got to the point where, because there's another works stoppage coming up in the beginning of March that will block us off from getting to the point where our laundry is, we were like, I should call the CRT because this one hasn't been updated in quite a while.
And it doesn't make sense because the rivers are no longer in flood.
Well, and all the other ones around the River Erewash, not the River Soar yet, but around the River Erewash and the River, the Upper Trent and the Canalized section there at Cranfleet, they've all gone out of stoppages. So the stoppages have been cleared saying, we're not in flood anymore. But this one kept saying that the EA had closed their floodgates, and so they weren't allowing any traffic through, and that meant the CRT wasn't allowing any traffic through. So I got in touch with the CRT, so they said just update the notices, just check the notices. Well, we've been checking the notices. And when we get the email from the EA saying, in fact, we told them 2 weeks ago they could open that thing, it all just got a little bit confusing. So finally, we got a call back, and they said, you could have gone through for the last several days, except we didn't take the stoppage notice down because you should watch the stoppages every day and make sure that the notices, because they get updated immediately as soon as something changes. So that was goofball fun. Yeah. So now we're making the move down there. So we're making the move towards Shardlow today.
I think
probably not going to Sully Cut today, but if the water's down, we'll go to Sully Cut.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's get going.
And then the next day we'll go from Sullycut on to Cranfleet if the water's down. If the water's not down, we'll wait up there, but we've stocked up.
But at least we can actually physically see the water, and we're not waiting for a notice to get updated.
Exactly. Yeah, so that's the plan. Except for the first part of that plan is to pull into the lock, pull to the side, so that I can run around to the side and get the solar panels down, because I don't really want to have that sail pulling on me the entire time.
But before that, you need to go and raise the lock.
Exactly, and check this voicemail.
I'm going to do that. I couldn't film it because I was actually helping, but we get the solar panels into the flat position on the roof. Now we can untie the boat and start to drain the lock. You can tell it's been a few weeks since we filmed an intro, as we're very out of practice, and I'm not sure if today's was very clear at all. In summary, the UK is still in lockdown and only essential travel is currently allowed. We've been on this mooring for 6 weeks, but now, as we desperately need to do laundry and there are no laundry facilities here, we have to move the boat. We can't go back in the other direction as there's a winter stoppage that way, and so the canal is closed. Our only option is to go on to Beeston, where there are a couple of laundrettes. We aren't really comfortable moving the boat during lockdown, but we really have no choice. Once we get to Beeston, we'll be able to stay there until movement's allowed again. One last view of the Swarkestone Pavilion as we leave. There's a field next to it where horses graze, and we've really enjoyed walking George there while we've been here. It turns out you can actually hire out the pavilion for short stays. So we're a couple of miles, oh George, where are you going? We're a couple of miles, oh that's a tree. We're a couple of miles into the cruise and it feels so nice to be moving, and there's just deserted. There's hardly anyone on the towpath. There's a few boats moored, obviously no boats moving. It's just so nice to be out. And even though I said it was still winter this morning, it does kind of feel like spring might be coming. So it's just nice to be out.
That bridge is Find George's Bridge, but that's where you find George.
The second lock of the day is Western Lock, and there's a very friendly group of lockdown moorers here, including someone that we shared a lock with back on the Rufford branch in 2019. It takes a while to fill the wide lock. I really struggled to get the lock gates closed behind the boat. They're big and heavy, and when they're open they're practically hanging over the lock itself, so it's really hard to get leverage without risking slipping into the water below.
Well, that's Aston lock done. Just getting the door closed, and then we're on our way the rest of the way into Shardlow. About a mile and a half to go.
Shardlow was an important late 18th century transshipment port for the River Trent and the Trent and Mersey Canal. Apparently in its heyday it was known as rural Rotterdam or Little Liverpool. There was once 12 canal basins here. The many wharfs and warehouses were utilised to transport coal, timber, iron, cheese, corn and salt. There were boat builders here, stables and the head office for the Trent and Mersey Canal Company. There were also workers' cottages and houses. What remains is a lovely collection of historical buildings in various states of repair. It's a really lovely place to stop and explore. the Shardlow floodgates. They're showing that the River Soar is in flood, but the River Trent is open, which is good news as that's the way we're heading. On the other side of the floodgates is the Chapel Farm Marina. When we get to Derwent Mouth Lock, we're not sure what to do, as the indicator that shows the water level below the lock is borderline in the red. Should we wait it out above the lock, or is it safe for us to proceed? Just as we're having the discussion, Michael spots 2 boats in the distance coming off the river. We get the lock ready for them, and we'll wait to hear what they have to say. They both confirm that the water level isn't too high and it's safe for us to proceed, so we make the decision to push on. Out on the river, Michael's going to move much faster than George and I, and we're simply not going to be able to keep up. So he heads off and we'll catch up with him by the flood lock in Swarley Cut. This is the 4-way confluence at Derwent Mouth. From this direction, the Trent flows in from the left and continues straight ahead, and that's the way we're going. The Derwent meets the Trent to the right, but it's out of frame here, and it's not navigable.
So the Trent's high, but no higher than when I last came onto here when we were turning onto the air wash. Or if it is any higher, it's like a centimeter or 2. It's always a bit funny to cross under the M1 major motorway. Joe will be back there somewhere walking George, trying to catch up to me. Yeah. We caught a couple of boats coming up and let them up the lock, and we were like, maybe we won't go, but they said it was fine. There was no problems with wind or anything today, so seemed like the time to go. So we're here now. Yeah. Big bridge. All of that traffic heading up to Scotland. And over there is the daunting-ish weir.
The river continues over the weir and we follow the navigation onto Swarley Cut, which is helpfully marked by that big arrow. The floodlock is closed today, so Michael has prepared the lock and then waited on the landing for me to arrive to help the boat through. The water only needs to drop a couple of feet for us to get the gates open, and this is where we're going to stop for the night as it's going to be dark soon. On this lock, you need to leave a paddle open on each end as you leave. Michael hangs back to make sure I can get the heavy gate closed behind him.
Alright, so there we are.
That's longer than 3 hours.
Yeah, a bit longer than 3 hours.
3:30 now.
Getting to the Swarley Cut over the Trent was, well, actually extremely uneventful.
Yeah.
The Trent is a bit high.
Yeah, it's on borderline into the red.
Yeah.
So at not Western Lock, at the flood lock, I've forgotten what it's called, Derwent Mouth flood lock, we were like, should we go, should we not go? Like, should we just stay here and be sensible? But then, while we were having that decision-making process...
2 boats.
Michael was like, is that a boat? And I was like, no, it's not a boat, it's 2.
Yeah. Yeah, so they were coming up, and it turned out they'd come through Cranfleet. Well, one of the boats had come through Cranfleet, and the other boat had come through Airwash, and they were both heading up towards Swarkestone, where we left from.
Lucky to meet each other.
Yeah, yeah. But they were like, no, it's smooth, it's no problem. There's a bit of flow coming down off the Trent, which is what I found. When I got out there, it was like, okay, onto the Trent, and there was about a 10-meter wide section that was moving quite fast, so I started getting pushed sideways. But as soon as I got across into sort of where I was out of the clear of the river itself, the Derwent had nothing coming down off of it. It seemed to be going backwards. These
locks are just really big and heavy, and the gates are really heavy and big, and the balance beams are really big. Like, there's that one that is really...
It's just enormous.
And you can't get to the other side to push it. You have to pull on it.
Yeah, because, well, basically at full open position, you're hanging off. If you were on the side where you'd need to be to push, you're hanging out over the lock.
So it didn't feel safe for me trying to do it on my own. So I called Michael, and he came up to help me.
And then it didn't feel safe for either, but with both of us.
At least we were both there.
But yeah,
it was nice to move. Like, it felt good.
It did, and the weather was really nice until about 20 minutes ago when it started going grey.
Yeah,
and cold.
Just to be out in the sunshine makes you think spring might be coming. So
yeah,
that's nice.
And there's swans about, and they seem to be, well, they're already paired off, but they seem to be making actual nests now. So
we're opposite the Sawley Marina, so we can push across and get diesel tomorrow before we go, if we go tomorrow.
Yeah, from what I read here, it is a 24-hour self-serve service that is open. So for the first time in forever, I can actually just pay at the pump.
So if we can't sleep at midnight, we'll be like, oh, let's go and get diesel.
Let's do a 3 a.m. diesel.
They do have laundry, but I gave them a call just now, and it's not for visitors, so we can't do our laundry there. So
yeah, I wondered about that during COVID.
I think it's just their policy, and I get it. Like, if you're paying for a mooring, then you want exclusive use to the facilities. But it would have just solved a problem for us. So.
Yeah, but still. So what we're trying to do is get to Beeston, because Beeston has one of these coin-op outdoor laundries. You walk up, you put in a coin or a credit card, and you just do your laundry. And we'd run into one of these before.
There's one in Skipton.
Skipton, yeah, that's where it was. And it was other than the fact that one of the dryers broke, it was really, actually extremely helpful, because it's like any time of the day you could just go get your laundry done.
So if it's not working, I don't know what we'll do.
Yeah, that's true.
But
God, I've been operating on the assumption the entire time that these things will be pristine and fully functional and cheap. Yeah.
So we're tired anyway.
We are tired, and we are in the Solly Cut, which means that really there's just a lock at each end that's a flood lock, and we'll have to go tomorrow and see what the levels are and whether or not that lock is being operated. To see if we can get up there.
Yeah, I hope we can move, because this, lockdown, we're still in the middle of it, and I don't want to be somewhere temporary. I just want to be at our next mooring, next lockdown mooring. Yeah,
next place where we can access
everything,
food, water, and have at least reasonably clean laundry. Some clean laundry. Wow. It's hard to describe just how irritable I get when I've run out of everything. So, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. So thanks for watching. Give us a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe to Minimalist Maximal Velocity for our time-lapse videos. And if that bell is still a thing, click it if you want notifications.